Amy Graham.
Yes, you
Sure you do. She's married to Vince Gill. Been around for.
Don't say you don't know who Vince Gill is.
I do know this.
I mean, come on now. Now we're getting there.
One of my favorite songs.
What? That's what I'm thinking, 17.
17.
I figured, most of y'all know it.
And I probably do know it when it starts. I just don't know.
You do. You're gonna go.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at it, just give me a minute so I can. So I have another one picked out. I won't do all rise. I don't think I'll do that. Huh? 66. It's already a problem. Okay, I can.
There's like the longest concert in the world. Oh my gosh. And we got there early. We got there at 4:30 for a 5:45 concert.
Okay.
We didn't get out of there till midnight. We got out of the parking lot till 1. We didn't get back to the hotel till.
Okay, number 17, where we're gonna start. Before while you're turning there, Sunday evening announcement. If you didn't get a gift this morning, there is one for fathers. This week, BBS, Saturday. Look, if you haven't helped with a lot of it, you can. If you at least let people know that it's out there. We have advertised it. Yeah, I'm gonna actually pass out some things in the neighborhood tomorrow if you want to come at 3. Having a trouble finding the weather that's good enough. I was gonna do it this last week and it decided I was gonna do that and weeding, and both of them didn't get done because it would not quit raining. So, but it's not supposed to rain tomorrow. So I know a few of us are gonna do that. If you're interested, we do have a lot of there are flyers and some that are even hanging. And the more we get out, you can take your neighborhood, you can take it to the neighborhoods around here. I can tell you where to go, but the more advertising we do, the better. The more likely we're to have people to come. So anyway, let your family, friends know that that's coming. And we will also be decorating some things this week, which if you're interested in helping with that, also see me, but I'm gonna actually probably tell you to talk to Laura about it. They know schedules better. And Denise, yeah. Next Sunday is the cookout, potluck, weather permitting. And that's what I got at this point for announcements. Huh? Oh yeah, Carnessa's been big on this bring stuff in for our thing. I'm proud when people take on ministries. There's been a lot of extra work and planning and knowing what's needed, and I know the girls are working on this for that, so look at those things that are down there. She wants to make sure that I announce it so we can get it. Yes?
I heard the word buckets this morning, but I didn't see buckets on the list. Like, are they shoe boxes or what are the container?
They're gonna have the containers down there. They've just got a list of stuff, because what it is everybody that's going to Horizons, which is like several thousand kids, they picked out items that they want to bring, and then while they're down there, they're gonna put the buckets and put everything together while they're down there.
It's a major ministry.
So they're, okay.
Yeah, it's a major ministry.
Yes.
Okay.
And they're big on, these things teach them how to serve, and that's one of the big things is, they have classes and stuff, but one of the things is they get together and they work on service projects together too.
Great. Okay.
But if they take so much stuff, I mean, they can have extra, obviously, what we have, but they bring so much stuff, then when they show up, they put all their stuff together, because some of the things they have, others have another list of items, and they put them all together, everybody gets certain items. I think the buckets probably are provided by somebody else.
Okay.
My guess. But anyway. And that's all I got. Any other announcements?
I have an announcement.
I'm not surprised. Go ahead.
Nothing important, but Michael is selling sausages after church for $2 a piece, if anybody wants them.
$8.
Michael's going to camp.
And we have all different kinds.
Good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, if there's no other announcements, let's pray together. Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for the many blessings you give us, and we're thankful for this time together. Thankful for the opportunity to study this great book we're going to study tonight, as we learn how to behave and the proper things that you want us to do, these proverbs. God, we just pray that our behavior represents you well. And God, we're thankful for days we can celebrate. And God, we today specifically are thankful for the godly fathers that are out there we can celebrate with. God, we pray that you will continue to be with those who are struggling, maybe do not have those relationships with their family, their fathers. And God, we just pray that they can find peace within being a part of your kingdom, and that they will learn about you and all that you've done for them. And God, we are very grateful for your gift of your Son, for the gift of your Spirit, for the help you give us through your word. And God, we just pray that you will comfort and strengthen us each day. And God, we pray that your mercy will be granted to us when we fail to fulfill all the things we need to do for you. And God, we pray tonight that the songs we sing also praise your name and honor you. And God, we pray this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. 17 is the first song in this book, Thy Word. Let's start. Number 17. Thy word is a lamp to my feet and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp to my feet and a light unto my path. When I feel afraid, think I lost my way, still you're there right beside me. Nothing will I fear as long as you are near. Please be near me to the end. Thy word is a lamp to my feet and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp to my feet and a light unto my path. I will not forget your love for me, and yet my heart forever is wandering. Jesus, be my guide and hold me to your side, and I will love you to the end. Thy word is a lamp to my feet and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp to my feet and a light unto my path. Okay. Number, make sure 66, I believe. 66. We're at 66. We'll sing this 2 times through. God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide. Hold me closely to his side. With love and strength for each new day, he will make a way. He will make a way. God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide. Hold me closely to his side. With love and strength for each new day, he will make a way. He will make a way. Number 76. Number 76. One verse.
You are the words and the music. You are the song that I sing. You are the melody. You are the harmony. Praise to your name I will bring. You are the Lord of lords. You are the mighty God. You are the King of all kings. So now I give back to you the song that you gave to me. You are the song that I sing.
I'll take some of this guy away. So, just a quick review so far. The book of Proverbs is a collection of writings, mostly written by Solomon, but not all of it was written by him. And so Proverbs chapter 1 through chapter 9, verse 18 or so is set, the first set is written by Solomon. And then Proverbs 10 through 22 is the second set written by Solomon. But then you get into Proverbs 22 through 24, and it's called the Words of the Wise. Now, it could be Solomon that wrote it from a collection that he had mentioned back in Ecclesiastes 12:9, or it might possibly be some other unnamed prophet or something like that. Ecclesiastes 12:9 says, besides being wise, the preacher also taught the people knowledge, weighing and studying and arranging many proverbs with great care. So that could be referring back to Solomon as well. Proverbs 25 through 29 are a collection of Solomon's proverbs, which were collected in the days of Hezekiah, which was long after Solomon had passed away. So we have those also, but those are identified as the Proverbs of Solomon. Proverbs 30 contains the writings of the prophet Agur, A-G-U-R. And then Proverbs 31, which Luke filled us in on this morning, was written by basically a non-Israelite king named Lemuel. So, it was more of a review. We've already talked about that. So the first 9 chapters were Solomon describing wisdom and why it's important to get it and what it is and how to apply it. And then in chapter 10 through 30 or through 29, they're wise sayings, and they're more scattered would be, I guess, the word that I would use as you read through it. You could read through chapter 10 and it bounces around, and then you get into chapter 11 and it bounces around. It's not like a continuous, here we're going to talk about, tonight we're going to talk about the tongue. So it's not like we can go to chapter 10 and read all about the wisdom of how we apply wisdom using our tongue. Okay? So that's why you have this handout tonight, because this was, I believe, every proverb that had the word tongue in it, plus there's also some proverbs in here that have the word lips, meaning obviously the speech is coming out of our mouth over our lips, and how we're talking and things like that. So I needed 3 volunteers. I need 1 volunteer to read chapter 10, 1 volunteer to read chapter 11, and 1 volunteer to read chapter 12. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking more of a topical look each week at some topic and how it applies to us and the wisdom that we find about that topic in the book of Proverbs. And so we still want to read through Proverbs, but what I'm going to do is every week I'm going to take 3 chapters or so, and we're going to read them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what the lesson is on. It's not going to be on chapters 10, 11, and 12, because as you look through your list, you're going to see there's proverbs in most of the proverbs about the tongue. So I still want us to read through the book of Proverbs. I was trying to figure out how are we going to do that if we're topically looking at things. So I need 10. Who would like to read 10?
I will.
Okay, 11. Thank you. I was going to pick you if nobody picked it. So, and 13, or 12. Tom? All right. Chapter 10.
A wise son makes a glad father, but a foolish son is a sorrow to his mother. Treasures gained by wickedness do not profit, but righteousness delivers from death. The Lord does not let the righteous go hungry, but he thwarts the craving of the wicked. A slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. He who gathers in summer is a prudent son, but he who sleeps in harvest is a son who brings shame. Blessings are on the head of the righteous, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. The memory of the righteous is a blessing, but the name of the wicked will rot. The wise of heart will receive commandments, but a babbling fool will come to ruin. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. Whoever winks the eye causes trouble, and a babbling fool will come to ruin. The mouth of the righteous is a fountain of life, but the mouth of the wicked conceals violence. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all offenses. On the lips of him who has understanding, wisdom is found, but a rod is for the back of him who lacks sense. The wise lay up knowledge, but the mouth of a fool brings ruin near. A rich man's wealth is his strong city. The poverty of the poor is their ruin. The wage of the righteous leads to life, the gain of the wicked to sin. Whoever heeds instruction is on the path to life, but he who rejects reproof leads others astray. The one who conceals hatred has lying lips, and whoever utters slander is a fool. When words are many, transgression is not lacking, but whoever restrains his lips is prudent. The tongue of the righteous is choice silver, the heart of the wicked is of little worth. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for lack of sense. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. Doing wrong is like a joke to a fool, but wisdom is pleasure to a man of understanding. What the wicked dreads will come upon him, but the desire of the righteous will be granted. When the tempest passes, the wicked is no more, but the righteous is established forever. Like vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes, so is the sluggard to those who send him. The fear of the Lord prolongs life, but the years of the wicked will be short. The hope of the righteous brings joy, but the expectation of the wicked will perish. The way of the Lord is a stronghold to the blameless, but destruction to evildoers. The righteous will never be removed, but the wicked will not dwell in the land. The mouth of the righteous brings forth wisdom, but the perverse tongue will be cut off. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked what is perverse.
Thank you. Chapter 11.
A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with the humble is wisdom. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. The righteousness of the blameless keeps his way straight, but the wicked falls by his own wickedness. The righteous of the upright delivers them, but the treacherous are taken captive by their lust. When the wicked dies, his hope will perish, and the expectation of wealth perishes too. The righteous is delivered from trouble, and the wicked walks into it instead. With his mouth, the godless man would destroy his neighbor, but by knowledge, the righteous are delivered. When it goes well with the righteous, the city rejoices, and when the wicked perish, there are shouts of gladness. By the blessing of the upright, a city is exalted, but by the mouth of the wicked, it is overthrown. Whoever belittles his neighbor lacks sense, but a man of understanding remains silent. Whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets, but he who is trustworthy in spirit keeps a thing covered. Where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in abundance of counselors there is safety. Whoever puts up security for a stranger will surely suffer harm, but he who hates striking hands in pledge is secure. A gracious woman gets honor, and violent men get riches. A man who is kind benefits himself, but a cruel man hurts himself. The wicked earns deceptive wages, but the one who sows righteousness gets a sure reward. Whoever is steadfast in righteousness will live, but he who pursues evil will die. Those of crooked heart are an abomination to the Lord, but those of blameless ways are his delight. Be assured, an evil person will not go unpunished, but the offspring of the righteous will be delivered. Like a gold ring and a pig's snout is a beautiful woman without discretion. The desire of the righteous ends only in good, the expectation of the wicked in wrath. One gives freely, yet grows all the richer. Another withholds what he should give, and only suffers want. Whoever brings blessing will be enriched, and the one who waters will himself be watered. The people curse him who holds back grain, but a blessing is on the head of him who sells it. Whoever diligently seeks good seeks favor, but evil comes to him who searches for it. Whoever trusts in his riches will fall, but the righteous will flourish like a green leaf. Whoever troubles his own household will inherit the wind, and the fool will be servant to the wise of heart. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and whoever captures souls is wise. If the righteous is repaid on earth, how much more the wicked and the sinner?
Tom?
Whoever loves instruction loves knowledge, but he who hates correction is stupid. A good man obtains favor from the Lord, but a man of wicked intentions he will condemn. A man is not established by wickedness, but the root of the righteous cannot be moved. An excellent wife is the crown of her husband, but she who causes shame is like rottenness in his bones. The thoughts of the righteous are right, but the counsels of the wicked are deceitful. The words of the wicked are, lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright will deliver them. The wicked are overthrown and are no more, but the house of the righteous will stand. A man will be commended according to his wisdom, but he who is of a perverse heart will be despised. Better is the one who is slighted but has a servant than he who honors himself but lacks bread. A righteous man regards the life of his animal, but the tender mercies of the wicked are cruel. He who tills his land will be satisfied with bread, but he who follows frivolity is devoid of understanding. The wicked covet the catch of evil men, but the root of the righteous yields fruit. The wicked is ensnared by the transgression of his lips, but the righteous will come through trouble. A man will be satisfied with good by the fruit of his mouth, and the recompense of a man's hands will be rendered to him. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he who heeds counsel is wise. A fool's wrath is known at once, but a prudent man covers shame. He who speaks truth declares righteousness, but a false witness deceit. There is one who speaks like the piercings of a sword, but the tongue of the wise promotes health. The truthful lip shall be established forever, but a lying tongue is but for a moment. Deceit is in the heart of those who devise evil, but counselors of peace have joy. No grave trouble will overtake the righteous, but the wicked shall be filled with evil. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who deal truthfully are his delight. A prudent man conceals knowledge, but the heart of the foolish proclaims foolishness. The hand of the diligent will rule, but the lazy man will be put to forced labor. Anxiety in the heart of a man causes depression, but a good word makes it glad. The righteous should choose his friends carefully, for the way of the wicked leads them astray. The lazy man does not roast what he took in hunting, but diligence is man's precious possession. In the way of righteousness is life, and in its pathway there is no death.
Thank you. So this is an open question. You can just throw your ideas out there. There's really no right or wrong answer. After reading those three chapters, okay, and realizing we have many more to read, you ever sit there and it's just right now ask yourself, why didn't Solomon just come out and tell us what we need to know instead of burying it all in these very puzzling words and things like that? Have you ever thought about that even as we've been studying Proverbs? No, not at all? Why not?
I think even each of those statements have just a slight nuance
Okay.
that leads to a broader understanding than just a simple, I mean, the whole, I love he who hates instruction is stupid, right? I mean, that was pretty self-explanatory, but many of them, you know, there is no one size fits all in every relationship, in every conversation, in every environment.
Okay, good. Anybody else?
I think over and over in the Bible, the Lord tells us things, he repeats things. And so, even though it's nuanced, it's still the wise and the foolish, the wise and the foolish, the wise and the foolish, like each one's kind of hitting you over the head or kind of pricking your conscience just a little bit.
Okay, anybody else? So we're gonna start a study, we're gonna do topical studies. So obviously you can see the first one tonight is about the tongue. Now, I'm not sure that I'm gonna cover everything that our tongues will either get us into trouble or not get us into trouble. But anyway, so there's two typical misuses of the tongue, the first being lying, okay? And I'm gonna throw out the verse, the chapter and the verse, so if somebody can grab it from your sheet and read it for us. So the first one's Proverbs 12:22. Who wants to read that? Somebody just,
Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who act faithfully are his delight.
okay. So again, look at this. So the first clause of that part, because each of the Proverbs has two kind of separate parts to it, okay? This describes the amount of hatred that God has for lying lips. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord. That doesn't get any much clearer than that. I don't think you can get much clearer, okay? But speaking false words is only one way that we can lie, according to Solomon, because if you look at the rest of that proverb, okay, lying lips are an abomination, but lying lips are placed in contrast to people who act faithfully, okay? So look at that. So we engage in lying, okay, and instead of him talking about it, he goes into he's trying to teach his son to follow through with what you say you're going to do, okay? The lying lips are not simply about saying something that's false, okay, but saying that we will do something and then not do it or perform it is just as bad as lying about it, right? So we used to have a sign. Somebody put up a poster at work one time, and it said, just because I said I would do it doesn't mean that every 6 months you have to come in and ask me again to do it, or something like that. So again, are we lying, really lying, or are we lying by not doing what we say we're going to do? So I found that very interesting to look at that, okay?
What answer did you come up with to that, by the way?
I said, don't bother me, I'll get to it. You don't have to keep asking me. That's what I said. It wasn't me, I didn't put it up, okay? I didn't put that up, okay? Proverbs 10:18.
The one who conceals hatred has lying lips, and whoever utters slander is a fool.
Okay, so concealing hatred, it's talking about having lying lips. Why do you think that, what does that mean? One who conceals hatred has lying lips.
Because you may be concealing it by flattering or
Okay.
saying untruthful things without revealing perhaps your true feelings.
Keeping it to yourself, in other words, okay? Or are you speaking hatred to other people about somebody?
That's how I took it.
That's how you took
Because
it?
it follows
Okay.
up with slander.
Right, okay? And whoever utters slander is a fool, okay? So somebody may,
Like you're quick to say something bad about somebody or jump on the bandwagon and just kind of agree, even if other people are saying it like, oh yeah, I heard that too.
okay, and we're gonna talk about that aspect in just a minute, okay? So the one who conceals hatred has lying lips. So somebody who's talking to Deb about somebody else and saying hateful things, they're actually lying. They have lying lips, because if they're not willing to say it to you face to face, they're lying, okay? Because they're not talking to who they need to talk to. And they're saying something about you that may or may not be true, right? But we're gonna get into that a little bit more in just a minute, okay? So again, is acting dishonestly to somebody or towards somebody lying?
Obviously, yes.
Okay, and give me an example. What do you think?
An example might be, like when the weight might be off. Like if you're charging someone bulk price on something, but
Okay.
your measuring device is off in your favor. I mean, that's kind of,
But they could be lying to you about it, right? I mean, they're
They're
lying to you, they know it, and,
it's still lying.
okay, yeah, okay. What do you think of a person who's your best friend, and then, based on the conversations you have with them, you believe that, but then you don't realize that that person who you think is your friend really can't stand you and speaks badly about you to other people? Are those lying lips?
Sure. All of us have had opportunities or situations, let's say, all of us have had situations where somebody we thought were friendly to us or in our favor on some
Okay.
things. We all had that situation where they weren't, and ultimately are stabbing, we call it stabbing you in the back.
Right,
It's
sure.
kind of the idea of slander. Some slander is done publicly, and some slander, which is talking here, is done.
Well, we're gonna talk about that one next, okay? So we have lying, and then the second misuse of the tongue is whispering or gossiping, okay? Now, this one I found very interesting. So Proverbs 16, verse 28.
A dishonest man spreads pride, and a whisperer separates close friends.
Okay, so again, this one's kind of talking about the damage, the amount of damage that can be done, okay, being a whisperer or a gossip, okay? Even the best of friends can be divided if one of the parties engages in gossip, like you were just kind of talking about, okay? And even the perverse person is compared in this one to the whisperer, so to speak. So, sowing strife is compared to separating the best of friends. Now, let me ask you this, if you know somebody who's a gossip, okay, do you think that they think of themselves or him or herself as a perverse, evil person? No? Because really, every gossip person who gossips out there thinks the things that they have to say are innocent. They're just something that needs to be said, right?
And then we say, please pray for them. That's the Christian side of gossip, is we tell something that probably shouldn't have been said and then said, don't forget to pray for them.
Okay.
That's covering up our own
Okay.
God.
So
Sometimes
this,
it may help if there's really something that they need to know, but sometimes we have said something they did not need to know and then say, please pray for them if we really want to. I mean, it's,
you have to remember, so this person, this gossip, they're just talking about someone. They think that it's very innocent, what they're saying, okay? But we, like you're talking about, we have to remember, if it's not useful, if it's not beneficial, and it's not something you would want other people to hear about you, okay, then that person needs to be told, look, what you're saying, you can't do that. Don't talk about that person like that, right?
a lot of times it's not even true, so that's the thing.
Well,
about it. Like,
right,
not-
okay, right,
So we've got that problem.
right.
Well, and it's not always, I mean, sometimes you just find yourself where someone's just oversharing information about someone that you don't really need to hear or want to hear, and that's really, it's like a dam breaking and words coming at you, and you don't even know how to get out of those conversations, right? I mean, you're not even having a conversation, you're just.
That brings us to our next proverb,
Well, I was
Proverbs
thinking an answer to that
26:20. Who would like to read that one?
Proverbs what?
26:20. I hope it's in there.
For lack of wood, the fire goes out, and where there is no whisperer, quarreling ceases.
Okay, what's wood to a fire? What is that?
Fuel.
Fuel, okay? The wood is the fuel for the fire, so if gossip is going to fuel those fights and things, strife and quarreling amongst people, friends are gonna split because of things gossip say, okay? Maybe somebody entrusted us with something in confidence and then we're out blabbing it to whoever, okay? We're destroying a friendship. So if for lack of wood, the fire goes out, and where there is no whisperer, quarreling ceases, okay? So taking that and adding to it, chapter 20, verse 19, this is where we as Christians should be stepping up. So go ahead. 20:19.
Whoever goes about slaughtering reveals secrets, therefore do not associate with a simple blasphemer.
Okay. What is that telling us?
Just walk away.
Okay, walk away. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we have a problem with that though, because let's go to Proverbs 18:8. And this is actually in two Proverbs, 18:8 and 26:22. They say exactly the same thing. Who has that one? 18:8.
The words of a whisperer are like delicious morsels. They go down in the inner parts of the body.
Okay, so why is that listed twice? Why did Solomon think that was so important that he actually stated it twice? What happens to the person that
A lot of women.
the gossip is gossiping about, okay? What about those hurtful words? Where does that go? Straight to the heart or to the inner parts of the body, okay? But yet, for us who are listening to the gossip, the words of a whisperer are like delicious morsels.
They don't call it juicy gossip for nothing.
Yeah, that's right, I don't call it gossip for nothing, okay?
Juicy
Okay.
gossip.
Juicy gossip.
So remember, we sometimes bring it on. We kind of sometimes maybe encourage this person to continue to be a gossip, not realizing that the words that they're saying, the statements that they're making, are going down into the inner parts of somebody else who hears about it. And what is that doing to them, Glenn?
I was gonna say, probably using whisper because there's power in the whisper. What I mean by that is, if I use it in the classroom, kids are talking, yada, 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 somebody's paying attention, I'll whisper to that person. Pretty soon everybody in the room shuts up because they can't hear. You want somebody to believe something, you don't yell it at them, you don't talk, you whisper. They'll pay attention to you.
Interesting.
So the whisper, when you whisper some things, people listen because they feel like, oh, this is something I need to know.
It's juicy.
I can't hear it. Yeah.
So again,
They hear it.
yeah.
And they can't hear it, so they're gonna pay attention. They're more alert to pay attention.
So even though that we want to hear it, like he's saying, we want to hear these words of this person, this whisperer, so to speak. And we desire to hear the dirt on somebody else. Yeah.
But sometimes we don't desire to hear the dirt. I think that's what Teresa was saying, like.
We're gonna get to that.
Step
Just
out of that.
just got a proverb
I am
for
not
that.
comfortable
Thank
with
you.
this conversation.
No, you're right, exactly. Okay, but this next proverb actually condemns us for listening to somebody speak about another person. So somebody read Proverbs 17:4.
An evildoer listens to wicked lips, and a liar gives ear to a mischievous tongue.
What is that saying? So we are the evildoers for listening to those words. Okay? That's what Solomon is saying, okay? We're the evil ones for listening. pretty important that we understand that, okay? We always wanna say, well, they told me that, it's, you know, it's really them, they're the ones that said it. But you know what? We listened to it, okay? We gave ear, and a liar, so now we're being accused of lying. A liar gives ear to a mischievous tongue. Okay. So, going back to what you said.
Yeah, if you know they are, then there's a point. The first time they tell you, maybe you didn't know, but the 20th time, you know they're a gossip, you know.
Yeah, and
there's a point.
certainly, the person who's gossiping, they should be stopped. They're condemned for what they're doing, okay? But he also, Solomon spends this time condemning us who are listening, calling us liars, okay, and evildoers. Glenn?
I was just saying, yeah, you probably are in the wrong, but I'm thinking he's saying, if you listen to it and you give ear to it and you don't rebuke it at the time, then yeah, you're an evil.
Right.
You're going along with the program.
Right, and that's
So
what,
if you hear
that's,
something you don't agree with, you should speak up and say, no, that's not right.
and taking that with what Lucas said, so we need to be the person who does what?
Well, I think we
Speak
need,
up.
I think we need to practice what to say, for one thing, because if you're not a confrontational person, you can kind of feel backed in the corner. And just almost kind of shockingly so, like, I should not be listening to this right now. But you don't wanna be confrontational, but that doesn't mean that you're complacent or leaning in and tell me more. I think that's something you need to practice, even if you say, I'm really not comfortable with this.
Okay, that's a good point. That's not bad, Wayne.
Proverbs 17:9 says, he who covers a transgression seeks love, but he who repeats a matter separates friends.
Right.
So maybe we should just not be repeating it. That's where we really have the power, if we continue to push it on.
We become the gossip ourselves, in a sense, is what we're doing.
We can hear it, but we shouldn't pass it on. That's what.
Absolutely, we should not pass it on, and it'd be even better if we get to a point practicing, or right when we're able to, if somebody starts that, to say, stop right there. You know what, I don't need to hear that, you shouldn't be saying it, and maybe you should be praying for the person that you're talking about.
You should be, the Bible also tells you the other side where you go to the person,
Right.
right, the problem.
That's exactly right. So
I think it's
again,
hard sometimes to tell
there's-
somebody, did you go to the person?
there are so many verses that talk about those kinds of things.
But Wayne, I think that 17:9, because
Yeah.
it says, he who covers an offense, I think that's saying we show love by not telling, like, well, I saw Laura do this, right? If we don't share it, sorry, Laura, I didn't see
What?
this. Just for the record, I didn't see her do anything.
Oh.
But if I see Laura do something, if I love her, if she does something to me, I'm gonna love her and cover that offense, right? I'm not gonna go tell Deb what she did to me. So I don't think it's letting us off the hook for hearing that which we ought not to be hearing, that's none of our business, right? Whether it's, they need prayers or not, just ask me to pray for somebody, God knows, I don't need to know, right? And that needs to be our attitude as a church. We don't need to share the juicy morsels to get to the pray for them.
And how many older women have you heard, hey, that's enough, I don't wanna hear any more about that? You know, say to younger women, you know, I don't wanna hear any more about that. And then it's just, you know, they learn to shut up.
So those are the things, the misuses of the tongue, lying and whispering and gossiping, okay? But there's also what we've just seen about the misuses of the tongue. There's also things that a wise tongue can be used for, right? So what does a wise tongue do? So number one, we have to control our tongue, okay? And Proverbs 21:23, if somebody would like to read that, we need to speak less. So read 21:23.
Whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble.
There you go. Okay, so he's described for us how the tongue causes strife and brings trouble, but he's also reminding us now to guard our mouth and we will keep ourselves out of that trouble, right? okay? Are you writing that down, Glenn?
Yeah, I'm in trouble already.
Okay, well, don't worry, I'm getting to the one I'm in trouble with, so it happens, so. But so many of the troubles that we encounter come from not controlling our tongues in the first place, okay? I know I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway, right? I already know I shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but.
Yeah, but,
Everything that
okay,
starts with that conditional clause
Okay,
is
yeah.
generally should not be said.
okay. So Proverbs 10:19. Shout it out.
When words are many, transgression is not lacking, but whoever restrains his lips is prudent.
Okay, again, calling to control the tongue. The more we talk, the more likely we are going to get ourselves into trouble. At some point, okay? Any comments on that one?
I don't think there's a person in here who hasn't said, I shouldn't have said that.
That's right.
You never regret, I mean, I guess you could regret what you don't say to someone, like I love you or something, but for the most part, it's better just to be quiet.
Second thing is to think before speaking. Proverbs 29:20.
You see a man who's hasty in his words, there's more hope for a fool than for him.
Okay, so not thinking, he's hasty in his words. You know what? The fool there's more hope for the fool than for somebody who just starts talking. Okay, we need to think before we open our mouths, and we all know this, but again, I don't know that we always do a very good job of thinking through before speaking. So that's what that proverb is really, he's condemning the person who speaks before thinking. Okay, any other comments on that one? The third thing, and this is the one I have a big problem with. I'm working on it. I gotta tell you that, but I've been working on it for, I don't know, 50 years now or whatever. It's listening before speaking. Don't you hate it when somebody just cuts you off mid-sentence because they got something that's more important to tell you than what you're saying? I know there's a few people, one person for sure in here that knows that. Proverbs 18:13. This is me. This is talking to Terry. Who's got it? Teresa, I'm surprised you're not jumping on that one.
I'm going with there's a verse here, even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. I'm sticking with that one right now.
Are you? Okay, all right. Proverbs 18:13.
If one gives an answer before he hears, it is his folly and shame.
Okay. So not only are we not thinking before we're speaking, but we're also not even listening to the whole matter before speaking. We just decide to start speaking, okay? We're not getting all the information about a particular decision or a matter that's being discussed, and we just jump right in and make a kind of a hasty response instead of taking time to hear it all out and then speak.
How many siblings you got?
Huh?
How many siblings do you have?
One.
You didn't have a lot. I had 3 brothers, and
Well, you probably had to jump in.
if you didn't jump in, you didn't get a word in. I was the quietest of all 4, so
Okay. Well, that's okay. All right.
you have to learn. That's the hard part. You have to.
I don't think that that's really talking about you at that point.
But it works when you deal with other people too. Because
Yeah,
you're
that's
used to
true.
it.
That's true. All right, so the wise tongue, now we need to understand what to speak. What are we going to be saying with our wise tongue now that we understand when we should be speaking and not speaking? All right, so Proverbs 25:11.
A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in a setting of silver.
Okay, so we're going to be speaking fitting words. A word fitly spoken, or fitting words. Proverbs 15, verse 23.
To make an apt answer is a joy to a man, and a word in season, how good it is.
Okay, Solomon is reminding us in that useful words and something of words of value, being able to speak the right words at the right time, okay? We should want to work to be people who have the wisdom to be able to say the right thing at the right time, okay? Part of that includes listening to whatever somebody else is saying so that then you can make that wise statement after you've listened to them entirely, instead of me, who I think I know everything, and so I'm jumping right in halfway through. So it's something I have to work on. But, you know, too often we're like the fools we read about earlier who cause the problems because we can't even give a timely word. We're jumping the gun, so to speak, and not allowing that person to tell us all the information that we need to have to give those wise words, okay? Fitting words to whatever is going on or whatever the situation calls for. So fitting words, and then Proverbs 16 verse 24. Somebody read that.
Gracious words are like honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the body.
Okay, fitting words and then pleasant words, okay? Solomon's trying to help us understand the amazing power of words that bring healing to somebody who's in pain or suffering, okay? And again, the book of Job tells us the power of the words because the three friends who showed up, showed a total inability to speak the right words at the right time. Job 16 verses 1 and 2, they could have brought healing and comfort, but instead they're described as, well, anyway, verses 1 and 2. Then Job answered and said, I have heard much such things, or I've heard many such things. Miserable comforters are you all. Thank you. You know, thanks for nothing, is what he's saying, right? So we have to understand that. So fitting words, pleasant words, Proverbs 15 verse 4.
I think the is a tree of life, the perverseness in it brings the spirit.
Okay, so again, this one's just showing the comparison about the ability of the tongue to either heal something, heal someone, or to hurt someone, like the gossip, okay? So again, it's how are we using our tongue, in a good way or a bad way? Proverbs 18:21.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Those who love it will eat its fruit.
Okay, so again, he's kind of talking about if we control our tongue, if we think before we speak, and we listen before speaking, we can have the tongues that bring healing, okay? And that's somebody who will love and appreciate what a man says because they've thought about it, and it's words of wisdom, okay? They realize that, okay? And those who love it will eat its fruit because they are going to love what a wise person says. They're going to understand it, okay? So we have to understand that. So how can we have tongues of healing? Well, Solomon tells us in Proverbs 16:23.
The heart of the wise makes his speech judicious and adds persuasiveness to his lips.
Okay, so a healing tongue is something that comes out of a wise heart, okay? So if we're swift to speak, we're not probably giving the best advice or the most helpful words. And Solomon's basically saying a change of heart is required, okay? You're smarter than that, Terry, okay? Think before you speak. Let somebody else finish, okay? So if our heart is truly in a caring mode, in a caring way for somebody who's going through something, we need to take that time to process our answer, process the words that we're going to say, okay? Because our heart is going to reflect our character, okay? And we need to understand that. Proverbs even said, guard your heart, for it's the wellspring of life, okay? So those things are very important. And so we need to work on having a heart of wisdom that God has blessed us with, to have those right words the pleasant words that somebody may need to hear because of something they're going through or something that happened to them, okay? So we have fitting words, pleasant words, Proverbs 25:12.
Like a gold ring or an ornament of gold is a wise reprover to a listening ear.
Okay, so there's two things that are necessary for the rebuke or the reproof to be like an earring or a gold or an ornament of fine gold. And the first one is a wise man must be giving the reproof, okay? Says is a wise reprover, okay? So it has to be somebody who's wise. So if we take our time, if we allow God and we follow the wisdom that we're finding not only in these Proverbs, but in God's entire book, okay, we should be the wise person who is giving the reproof or the rebuke, okay? Now, the second part of that is what?
A listening ear.
A listening ear. So it has to be given to somebody who's accepting the rebuke. That has to be part of this, okay? How many people like to be rebuked, or however you want to look at it? Does anybody like to be rebuked? Even though if it's a wise person doing it, hopefully we understand that and they care about us, not like Job's friends, okay? But that person really cares about me. I can't stand that they said that to me or told me about that or whatever. But you know what? I have to be willing to listen to that. And that's hard, right? Does anybody find that easy? Even as a Christian, do you find sometimes that's hard to take from somebody who is rebuking you for something? Glenn?
To me, the truth is easier to swallow. It's
Okay.
just the way you say it. If it's said yelling and in anger,
Yeah.
but if somebody comes up and says the same thing and it's matter of fact, like, hey, dude,
Okay.
you listen to that.
Very true.
You know,
Okay.
you if he's speaking the truth, he need to be able to handle it.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
You can
Anybody
dish it out,
else?
you better take it.
Yeah. Anybody else? Proverbs 28:23.
Whoever rebukes a man will afterward find more favor than he who flatters with his tongue.
Okay. Now, you look at that and you think, well, somebody who's flattering with your tongue, you would think you'd find endless favor by doing that. But that flattery is not necessarily using the right words, the caring words, the pleasant words that Solomon and God through Solomon is sharing with us. You're going to be appreciated, like you were saying, you're going to be appreciated and respected more later for your wise words, even if it hurts somebody to tell them, okay? It may hurt them, it may be tough on your relationship for a while, but prayerfully through time, that person will come to understand and appreciate and respect you more than the flattery of just flapping your jaws, okay? Any comments on any of this? Wayne?
It was interesting, this winter we had a sermon, the preacher down in Florida stood up and said, I'm changing my sermon for this week, and I had to do it, and so he spoke on gossip. And it was so funny because, I mean, it wasn't funny, but it was, for the next month, everybody you talked to was like, because everybody was guilty. He was talking about probably some specific instances that were, but everybody felt guilty. Everybody was like, man, I thought it was me. I thought
What does that say, right? What does that say about us? I mean, does that say, wow, are we all thinking, I thought, talking about
luckily
me?
Julie was tied tight to the women, so she found out really what was happening. I'll let you take that wherever you want to take it.
I'm not taking it anywhere. Because class is over. But in conclusion, mean what you say, follow through on your words, because God hates lying lips. Gossip causes strife and destroys relationships. If the words are not useful, helpful, and something you would say to that person, do not speak them. Stop listening to gossip. It may be juicy, but Julie. Thank you. But we are ungodly if we listen. Okay? And I'm not just pointing to Julie, because I'm pointing at me too. So I think, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I know I am probably guilty of that. Be thoughtful and slow to speak. We have a responsibility to control our tongue, okay? And be able to speak the right words at the right time and bring words of healing and not pain. Any comments at all about Proverbs and the tongue? Next week we have our cookout and song service, so in 2 weeks we have another exciting lesson. I haven't decided which one I'm going to pull yet to do, but it will be another topical discussion on something that applies to all of us. We were going to read 3 more chapters, so if you want to get ahead, you can read 13, 14, and 15, and volunteer next week or 2 weeks from now to read it. Glenn, you going to read next week?
No, heck no.
Okay.
But Terry, I appreciate the lesson and thanks for bringing it to my attention.
I appreciate that. Thank you. All right.
I'll let you guys know how it goes.
Hey, she'll probably let you know. Hey, she's gonna gossip to you about how it's going with me.
Then I'll pray for you.
So, who needs the Lord's Supper? One? And who has closing prayer? That'll be in the kitchen after we get done.
That person's not here, so pick somebody.
Who's not here?
Dave Rupert.
Dave Rupert's not here.
Why don't you babysit?
I'll do it. Okay. Father, thank you for blessing us with the words of wisdom that we're finding in Proverbs. And thankful, Father, for the class tonight and the discussion, and just to realize, Father, how we can do better, how we can improve ourselves and the words that we speak when we speak them, the encouragement that we can provide to others, Father, that are hurting. And Father, just give us the knowledge and the wisdom to be able to identify those times and to also be able to identify when we need to help somebody maybe not talk so much. But all of those things, Father, will hopefully make us a better child of yours. And we're just thankful again for the time we've had tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
I might be in trouble. You are. I think it's next week, I'll be in Cleveland next Sunday night.
What's your point?
You'd have to be here.
We have a cookout next Sunday, but I don't have my calendar on me. So
Okay.
I like to let someone know, so someone else had to take care. I can go get the food.
Okay.
Yeah, if you text me, I'll take care of everything.
Okay.
Not that I know what that means.
Okay. Just
I
let us know.
can't- I get all the way to Cleveland last Monday, and I'm checking, Mike and I are checking in. They canceled my appointment, but they didn't tell me. They canceled Michael's appointment, and they didn't tell me.
Well, I hope you went to Simon's and got a good roast beef sandwich while you were there.
So, I don't have my calendar on me, so.
Just let us know.
Just text me.
Thank you all.
Okay,
And I'm not elected.
I'll get my sauce. I was so mad. I checked in and they canceled. And I said, because the doctor.
Julie, Julie.
You want any sauce?
There's some in the fridge. It's in the fridge. You have to- I think Tom's doing it with you if you want. Tom's doing it, Trace. He's coming right
So I don't know about
Your son's last name. We did it. The one time. I couldn't believe we did that.
You were doing good, you got the money, you got the time. Yeah, you're happy.
It's very interesting. You mean I'm the one, I'm part of this, but I'm just listening to you.
Greg brought it.
Thursday, Why, what do you wanna do?
That's how you get my. I know, You know I am, right? I know it's hard. It's just fun.
Next week.
Gotta die.
No, I think I'm home. I think I'm home.
And I would say, are you going to say it again? And they say yes. It's weird to me. I see.
There, I have to look at the map, I'll have to look at the map and see what altitudes I could be
I'll see where my babies are.
I think it's also everything to do with your I mean, it's one thing just to go out and
well, it depends on, like a range.
you know, that's somebody else.
Some quadrants on the same range might be different, whatever.
It's not the same as
So, yeah, so you just
like
have to get your.
your attention to like
When I was at the, when I was the
down
manager.
grade or degrade somebody.
I found this very interesting, University of Michigan.
So if it's kind of more
That's there.
Right about the time you're getting
Yeah.
help, that's time to get up here. That's
They
my
know
problem.
where the drone
That's
lifts off.
That's just not
They know where the drone lifts off, where the operator is. And they would send a piece, and if they didn't have a proper capability, they were written a citation. They were penalty, but they were writing a citation for operating a drone illegally in basically restricted areas. So, yeah, so I found that very interesting. They would call me and send me a screenshot of a drone that took it off like a quarter mile from the airport, you know, from a building or something like that. We're letting you know that, you know. It was very interesting, most of the major big universities.
It's not meant to be.
That's a real
you know, 2020,
Yeah.
all that went out the window. Because they demanded that you tell us your our business.
I'm so broke.
They did. He was responsible.
I'm not driving it.
Completely.
You know what I mean? My business can part of the car. You know, they go back to the doctor tomorrow.
And they got away with it.
Already bought. Trust me, that $2 made me buy like life down right now.
They were giving everybody, asking people as they walk in the door, have you guys?
So they're going behind the porta pots to get in the shade, so you can see.
This is the last meal. Let's see what I got. But I'm gonna check. I have some money in my checking.
They still walk the dog, still walk.
I have some money in my checking account, but I can't really start. This is like
Yeah, not during the
I
day.
got $60 for my girl, because I bought her brown flowers for her. And then there's another girl who just died. She told me to send her
So when they say strongly Christian, they always
There's some knuckle
You know,
I just by the window.
so that
There's
was
another
how
knucklehead walking the dog and I'm like,
knows.
Yeah.
this is going on during and now
I did yesterday, I asked her to put my
it's not one of those. Mr. Smith, everybody thought it was you because you was jogging by here all the
But
time.
next
And that's
week,
what
I got
I'm
one.
or they disguise themselves as Mr. Smith.
Been watching for a while, what's going on.
They'll take the dog and walk it so everybody will
It's gonna be every month.
yeah, you help this guy.
Like the drone shows where they have like 100
Right, right.
drones, they're all under control and they're reading the flag or
Yes.
whatever.
So since I've been there, somebody thought it was a whole bunch of.
Explosives on one of those, program it to fly into a stadium and right into people. That's what I've been fun.
So nobody's well, then if they're pay my text message said
Is it really gonna stop?
but it wasn't.
I know I shouldn't be here, but I heard out.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the new guy who's been coming a couple of weeks now. The Army's got a beard. Oh, I don't know, I wasn't here.
And then she'll play.
I met him a couple weeks ago. Last 2 weeks ago, he's been here. Oh, no, that
All the guys.
So this guy, I went and talked to him. So, he comes walking out, I'm back to the hall, he comes walking over smiling. There's a small world, you know, so he told me his friends to so he and I were talking about they call letters of her tower, like fighter up there, how he's gonna go, how his procedure should go. I was in there back and he goes, I said, yep, that's me, that's my official name, Terrence Lee. He goes, that would have been conversation, and so when I see her, I say hello. Not till then.
You know what I
Something's coming for you.
couldn't read it. I had dyslexia.
No, I think you made daylight. They know when you get excited. Even though I've been watching daylight, trying to figure out. I don't think there is one.
They read it so much faster. The other one was more laid back, but they go. And they got lots of. I got hooked on her the pipe and that's gonna be easy to do. It was so good.
Michael, I need to see the sausage. Let's see it. Give me the sausage. Oh, lay it out? I'll go get it. I'll see you in a minute, Michael.
And I have to go.
Let me go buy some sausage.
It was like, I wish you would have made it. It didn't last that long. No. That one did right now today. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah. So I put my skin in there, put my skin out. And today I'm feeling that I have, you know, I'd be here for class, but I wanted to see this year, you know, I wanted to read. But I, radiation. My son and daughter. I don't know much about that. Okay, so. Like I'm really sick. Please come over and give me my phone. I can't. Please come over. I have to put rubber gloves. I went in Steph right now is. I know. I mean, those are two things. Like flabbergasted. You can't, don't let your lips touch any other clothes. I go, I don't find any other. I was, yeah. My friend. And right on the other side. Oh, my God. You know, so I really went in for my teeth because of all the surgeries are done. And I said, can't talk, can't eat, he goes, he's so right. I read the other day, the sizing of the second time. And there are these little blocks, like real blocks. What? Teeth in there, rubber. And I put them in and they fit so good. I just never saw anything like that. And you took all these measurements and I said, no, I can't even suck on a straw. Because my lips won't close over. Oh, so he started measuring. And he started 500. And then I my son told me, I don't want any teeth in the back, just like my real teeth. Like no wisdom teeth, no 14-year molar, those are both gone out of line. So it's a very small piece that's in my pocket. And he was like, wait, so I'm gonna be so intolerant. I brought my teeth out. I'm afraid, and there's I'm afraid there's and I hope they'll be. Yeah. Who cares? Like I said, I'm dying next week, so it's all good.
Oh, and they brought it to me, it was all mixed together.
Oh, yeah, so you come, well, I really.
When they gave it to me, it was all in the box. No.
And I think that this is gonna be a walk in the park. And if we live to the word. Right. And if we die, we go to die, we go to $50 bill. Yeah. We die, we go to war. I don't have to worry about it. You know what I mean? I'm sure you can.
I'll have more Wednesday.
Can't afford to pay, but I can.
I'll have my provider. We'll have these on this Wednesday. We're trying to get paid, but Angie, I'm out of here. I see you from Southie.
Well,
They left. And
we'll see if I can make it.
I think they were just.
With Bell.
Michael, I already bought a sausage. Let's go.
I already bought a sausage.
They come
I'm not buying
tomorrow
a
night.
sausage. I already bought one.
I did, but I got my $3. I'm keeping it. Yeah. Hey, listen, I heard you sold it to me, didn't he? You went to one that are. I know. Yeah, and it's sweet. See you later, thanks.
I said, you never know.
Yeah.
You have the problem with everybody.
The one field we're supposed to go to, it's safe and distributing. So he won't, the 2 years in a row, he won't be off work, so he'll go to another camp.
Okay.
You give this part to them physically, answer is always yes. That's what it is. It's a spiritual.
Trying to stay away from.
Does that, I'm not required to tell parents.
I know that, and guess what, that kid's not gonna get those things. I don't know.
Because.
Not here. I sure have.
Usually I not tell parents like that. I can't promise. Like, you tell me you're about to.
They're like your
It's not gonna cause harm to
five, but
in that way, but what about spiritual?
and she's got some.
Yes. Yes.
Thomas literally got, he went to his home. Place in the devil. So the bed is spread, it's terrible. Or, oh, it's a computer. But we
great.
didn't
Great.
find a,
Which-
I was just wondering how it's another grocery store that bought it. And
Because I tell them,
Sam
we're
told me about,
correct, but
but yeah, but a lady got one from Megan, she goes to town. And she got me,
I've never cooked on a cast iron. I've never cooked on. My mom did. And I think I might have heard, but I mean, I've never done it.
There was nothing.
You can't put soap on it.
Their head was performing.
When you're here, that church, like on Sunday, what section were they in?
No, they.
It's just,
You might have Flanders, you said Flanders across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can ask for sure,
About
but
like,
they.
about half a mile and you're in Michigan.
The first time I've been to Michigan, I was with, Bob, Lloyd, and Connie Ekman.
Well, you have.
And we went after church, and my mom told me before, don't go to Michigan.
That's like pickles. You like
I got
pickles,
to
they just like pickles.
So I didn't say anything for a long time. And then I said, Mom,
They're
I have to tell
not
you.
a real
I went to Michigan.
strong case,
It's right here.
but they
You
still.
can't, you have to go to Michigan. It's still not right. Someone's house. I said, it's right there. She said, I really don't want you to go by yourself. I didn't.
Yeah, they're not as,
It's right down the street from
no,
us.
they're not as good as Paul.
Go through a few lines, drive home.
Cause my,
Well,
my,
my house down
my
from me is
parents
Michigan.
thought
My house.
she liked pickles because Del bought a jar of pickles. And look, it wasn't even
Are they?
Pennsylvania. And when
Okay.
I got home, she had ate every pickle there was in that jar. And I said, but I wanted one just like. I have a niece.
So how's your mom's
Like
eyesight?
salt.
Better?
Her mom used to teach her, she had to borrow salt, then they buy for a horse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Someone else to drive a car.
I don't know, it depends.
Well, that's what she was saying.
Or she might have,
And then the sister did about that restaurant, that noodles, because I always go, you know, there were cats, and I always wondered, what kind of stuff do they have? I'll have to, one of these days, have some better stuff.
Just check.
Are they misbehaving or are they doing good?
are they outside?
They better not be in that room.
They
In that
have,
cradle. And I told her, this room is off limits.
all, nothing but soup.
I said, you cannot here, that room, that bed, that crib, it cannot be in that crib.
Yeah, they did, and they give you a sick. That was your first time, they give you all the. So you can.
They get the whole side turn thing.
Okay, you guys didn't see it because you were in here, but I was in my car.
You're not
I
really
had
sure
pictures
what
of
you
my
want,
car.
because
Giving it
he's
to
got,
Larry.
he's got the
This
child.
lady in the back, letting her little one ride his bike all through the parking lot with the cars moving and all that. I said, lady, you're not smart at all.
This is the wrong time. Now, after the parking lot is empty, go for it.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, that's the chick.
But not then, don't be that
A
down.
couple cars that stopped, a couple cars that stopped.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. That lady was not smart enough.
She needed a way to say, okay, so this way, from 150, I'll let you go over.
You're the winner.
No, it didn't. People were there. You said Bertha niece stayed with you guys? I figured they'd go to her parents' house. For Father's Day.
Oh. She might have been sorry. Because, she didn't come here and work yesterday. She'll be here tomorrow. Probably every day this week, she'll probably be here. Working on preparation. We'll probably start putting them up probably Thursday.
Well, you have those things.
Thursday and Friday.
We don't know. They are supposed to come. And this is, I hope that they are early in the morning, because we have to go to Ann Arbor.
We don't mind you being in the big nursery, but in the little baby nursery, no one's allowed to be in there. Unless your parents.
But
Tell me
Hey,
with our
I'll just go in the backyard.
we
Okay,
had
in the backyard.
to
Okay, thank you,
You'll
Ben.
in the house.
No, down the house, in the backyard.
not too bad. It's not as bad, but the whole thing would.
And there's
The whole thing I built was like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, did he get to go out all day or he had to work?
Well, yeah, you figured you got, you gotta pay for the roof, you gotta pay for the nurses, you gotta pay the doctors.
Dean was asking about it today. I
But
haven't,
it's the guy that thinks I won't have to stay.
He's on the military right now.
that's what I said.
Then the surgeon
Was it for
works
Black's?
and lasts an hour and a half.
For 7 weeks?
6 weeks,
Yeah, maybe I should.
We're just hoping that.
So Wednesday will be 2 weeks there.
Real.
So, and so we're taking the girls down.
And takes about, it takes about 40,
Yes, no,
45
that's, you
minutes.
tell her that's a difference between
Just
slavery
to
and
get,
gospel.
It's not the least like.
So you're getting up in the wee hours of the morning.
How long your brother-in-law be able to stay?
She can stay more than 16. Oh, banana comes in.
Yeah.
Banana stays. Even if she wasn't flying, it's still a
It's just bad for me. Because I was asleep in the car,
It's never gone.
their kids.
No, that's true.
It's just right now, it takes a lot.
Oh, it does.
There's an extra adult.
Because you know what? She does not mind
Oh,
doing dishes and I help.
She's just
Oh,
told
they
that.
do with the dishwasher stuff, but it's like, she just gets in there and.
That's the problem, is to her understanding. You might talk to somebody else, and like, yeah, that's fine. Her truth, her side of truth.
We're on vacation.
Thank you.
We were done with breakfast, immediately get off, start rinsing out the dishes and put it in the dishwasher.
It's
Oh, that's really,
little things.
That's a really good way of doing it, is say, hey, let's go ahead and There are.
I put the bacon, Nathan put the eggs, and everybody just.
Hey, go for it.
I had $2 this week.
I made the gravy and the biscuits, I burned the biscuits.
Oh.
So that's big.
Hey, there you go. Hey, there you go. That's all that. Did I tell you I got a head like Sunny's?
You really have that full count.
Yeah, but we just.
I don't know if it started Monday or Tuesday. Monday, I canceled where Sherry Scoop Bakery was. I canceled the lady where they were at. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. And Susie down at parents' house, which I said, no problem, we have it.
It has.
And,
They actually put a full butter.
there you have to empty out your own water and all that, and I said, I'm not doing it. So I canceled it. So Tuesday, Gail called me, text me and says, the site behind it is for sale. He says cancel, it's sold.
Yeah.
And he says, wait a minute, the camper's sold.
That's not true.
But the site's
I didn't want to share it with everybody.
it was 5,000, you had to sell your own.
That's what we tell them, he doesn't need that whole pound.
When I got there, I got the lady,
Okay.
4,500.
I know he is, but I don't mean,
Right before I
let
left
on
there,
being
it was
like.
4,000. I said, I'll take it. Flip the go-kart, or golf cart.
All my time, I'm always.
The deck's already there. On the top deck, there's a lower deck and a top deck. On the top deck is, heavy metal picture tables, round, 4 metal tables, chairs. Heavy, so she won't go away. So that was there. She left that there.
One piece, and you even take so I can have one piece.
One of those old fashioned lawnmowers.
I do.
Roll. I haven't seen one of those in years. For 30 years, if not 40 or 50 years. Got that. She left a, horseshoe.
It's got, the melon
That
light.
you just put on the the heavy plastic. I got that.
We'll be on the lookout.
And then on the outside, it has a glaze over it, and it's
But for $4,000, and the lot's already paid for, so I don't have to pay for the lot.
Yeah.
I got that. So I said to Michael,
This one's
on the way, when
Oh, there you go.
yes, Stephanie and I went up there yesterday, Rachel, see you later,
Alright.
enjoy your pickle.
I just recently taught how to make lemon. Once I showed her, she's like, yes, she made this little.
I told Michael, I
Okay,
said,
shoot,
once
leave
I
it,
do-
she's trying.
once a month, I'll stay the whole weekend, because I teach a class. I'll try to do it because they're not gonna be here.
The right
Like I said, you can't do that.
That's actually a perfect.
So,
I
and
think it's done right.
Labor Day weekend, Thursday night, the 3rd, I'll be at my sister-in-law's house. And from there, about 10:30, I'll go to my camper.
Something.
And then Friday, the 4th, and Saturday, the 5th,
It was happening.
then I'll leave there and come home that night. And if Ashley and Corey are not gonna be there, then I'll switch nights.
How far is it?
30 miles from my house, just about 30 miles. So,
Yeah.
it's not, it's 20 minutes from my sister's house,
Yeah.
so it's not that bad.
I would do that.
So I'm really pleased. I think,
Yeah.
and me and, like,
Julia's the cook.
here's the street, here's my camera will be right here, here's the deck, my shed, right behind in this next campsite, Dale and Nan's building. So if I have a problem,
Yeah. Yeah. It is
They'll
a
help
peak
me.
season, so they.
So I'm pleased.
How would you go for?
Cause see, Dale said to me last year that I think they're selling the
They still had
kids.
two on the bottom
So-
for free. Oh, yeah. And
So
they
I'll let you
had,
know.
they also had, if you got a third one,
And
$1 off.
beginning of this summer, and
So
April,
then
May,
you were
I
just a
think they're still selling, but I haven't heard anything. And then
we got.
Monday or Tuesday,
I got
he says
three
they're selling.
They were nice, I showed you.
So I said, I'll take it.
If I had
So
$2,
I signed all the papers yesterday, and it's all
I
mine.
don't have $2 right now.
Okay,
Which is really cheap
Yes,
for those drinks.
that's what we
well,
usually
I
do
can,
on a
I
Sunday.
will
If we give
let you have one,
us
you
two
can pay me
something,
$2
that's
for
fine.
it.
I had $2.
Kids usually never get.
And I gave it away. And I looked,
It's
I
usually
can take care of it. I asked for $4.
What's that?
See, right there.
Oh.
I never since I
got $10
Well, we got them started on when
That's
Dutch Brothers
pretty
got.
good.
Have it done till Wednesday, if you wanna buy it now.
That was our thing.
Okay.
And
That's
Every
fine.
Sunday,
So
almost every Sunday.
then I will, you know,
We did.
go there, get there 11:00.
You want one of
Then
each?
get home,
Oh.
it's lunchtime.
Two of those?
Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
the way I
back
want.
to
I
the
know.
state. You got cash?
Yeah.
I only got
I got euros.
That's what.
Well, give her an hour or two.
$2 a piece.
So you only get one then?
No, I will get her $2 on the.
You get half of one.
Me too.
Like I said, I will still go and walk, not 4 miles a week.
I will get it out of the
So
bank.
that
I had it the other day, I held this
Yeah,
one.
there you
I
go.
gave it,
See, it's been,
I told her to take euros.
It's
See,
no.
I had euros in here. Oh, I got a bill a big bill somebody gave me.
Nothing, oh, gross, American.
Somebody gave me that, and I'm like, okay, well, it's not obvious, it's
I
not.
thought it was a $2 bill.
Oh, no, it's got trouble with it.
So just pay me Wednesday night, $2 Wednesday night.
I will give $2.
There you go.
So I paid the sweet barbecue.
friend says.
Well,
Happy
this tastes
birthday.
like, just like a regular sausage,
Okay.
pepperoni, hot Cajun, pickles, sweet fire, original smoked sausage, boiled teriyaki, and sweet barbecue.
Hi, Michael.
Hey,
How are you doing?
spicy.
Jeff, good trip.
Remember that hickory
That
smoke?
hickory's not bad.
I mean,
And then.
we went somewhere,
It's between that teriyaki and that Cajun.
Cajun's what I got. I'll tell you how good it is.
Good time?
I bet.
to the movie. We'll do Cajun, please.
What'd you say?
I like it.
Oh, did you? Oh, I bet that was good. Yeah.
These are gonna be mine.
Nick Johnson and I watched the movie
I'm rolling.
cartoon the other day. And I like that.
thank you, there you go.
Go watch a movie or something.
And your kids are outside.
Thank you, sir.
And Jonathan, he threw a finger up in the air and hit a hole in the ceiling.
Oh, Jonathan did that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Bro. Yeah, yummies. Alright. Thank you, baby.
Okay, thank you. Here, you hear your box.
Today's been a long day. I think there was only one time in my life that I got sick and I actually lost weight. Other than that, the rest of the time, I'm like, no, I've got.
Not pretty good.